Hello everyone. This is Tobi from the Phuket Meditation Center, and you're listening to the Dharana Meditation Podcast. Let's sit together, calm the busy mind, and explore topics concerning character development, meditative training, and deeper self-knowledge. Let's begin by sitting upright, the head suspended, body relaxed at ease. Throughout the practice, try to maintain stillness in the body, not moving around, not fidgeting. Let the body settle. Breathing comfortably so that it feels good. And for now, just let go of every kind of activity, trying, intending, seeking, achieving. Instead, just give this moment space to be as it is. Now what we do is sit calmly and relaxed, breathing comfortably. As you breathe in, feel your legs. And as you breathe out, notice how they relax a bit, how they soften. Just gradually saturating your legs with awareness. Breathing in, feeling your belly. And as you breathe out, notice how it softens a bit. And how this softening is quite nice. Breathing in, feeling your heart, your chest. And breathing out, softening, releasing heart and chest. Notice that it's nice to let go of unnecessary tension. Breathing in, feeling your arms and shoulders. And out. Feel as they soften and relax. Breathing in, feeling your head, the brain, the forehead. As you breathe out, softening, releasing all the unnecessary contraction there.
Breathing in, feeling the entire body. Breathing out, softening through the whole body. You can think of the entire body as being made out of breath. Like a cloud of sensations. Insubstantial, light, spacious. With each out breath, you could feel your body become more light, more soft, more pleasant. Now train yourself to know where your attention is in this moment. Just remaining aware of how your attention moves from object to object, to sound, sight, feeling, or thinking. What am I aware of right now? Where is my attention right now? You can see how your attention moves very fast from sound to sound, from sensation to sensation, from thought to thought. Just observing that. We're not regulating or managing anything, just seeing, knowing, being aware. See if your awareness can keep up with the movement of your attention. Deeply sinking into the present moment. Not only aware of where your attention is right this second, but also how it is there. Is it there with attachment, with aversion? Is there liking or disliking? Complaining, waiting, hoping, fearing. Seeing everything that happens. becoming your own object, watching the body and the mind as they interact. Not reacting to anything, simply just seeing. A lot of things that will come up and appear that act like bait. The mind wants to get lost in it. Instead of watching thought, it becomes the thinker. Remain as a non-reactive observer, a witness to whatever natural process happens at this moment. You're not here as a manager. As a controller. Running on hope and fear. Just watching what is. Not running away from what is true. As our alertness, our presence has been strengthened, we then bring the attention to just the breath, keeping only the breath in mind. Breathing in, knowing that you're breathing in, breathing out, knowing that you're breathing out. There's nothing to do to your breath. You don't need to control it or manage it. Just observe it. Simply knowing whether you're breathing in or out. Also, just only this one breath. You can think of one breath as one session of meditation. And don't waste your time and energy on trying to block out things in order to be with the breath. Instead, just keep the breath in the foreground of all experiences. Let everything else fade into the background naturally. Knowing whether the in-breath has just started or is in its last moment. Same with the out-breath, knowing its first moment all the way down to its last. While remaining mindful of the breath, you can slowly come back. Open your eyes, gently stretch a little bit if you like. And good morning, everyone. Last day of the year. There's a common tendency for, I think, quite a lot of us to focus on results of the practice, to think of things that are not yet experienced, not yet fully accomplished, and to lose ourselves in thinking about such things. Might be thinking about emptiness, or thinking about not self, thinking about higher levels of meditation and so on. And very often that then leads to us trying to produce those things in our practice artificially. So rather than tending to the causes of those specific attainments, we try to manufacture the result in some way. So that's quite common, not only in meditation, but also when it comes to such things as yogasana practice. People try to do the split, for example, or they try to do a certain pose. Rather than doing the causes of that pose, they try to somehow fabricate it. We're trying to fabricate stillness in the mind when we meditate, rather than actually tending to the cause of stillness. We're trying to do a meditation practice rather than tending to the cause of meditation practice. So everything that is taught by the Buddha, for example, is a very clear, logical chain of causality. If this is, then that is. If this is not, then that is not. That's the idea. If you want to be calm and peaceful, a good question to ask is, well, what are the causes of calm? What are the causes of peace? And you can also ask yourself, what are the causes of such things that prevent calm and peace? Why am I not calm and peaceful? What is it that I'm doing? And not what is happening to me, rather, what am I doing that prevents me from experiencing peace and calm? There's also a common misconception that we do not understand the cause of suffering, so we then blame external circumstances for suffering. And it feels pretty much like suffering is something that is happening to me. That is not correct at all, actually. Suffering is something that we produce, it's something that we do. Just like noise is something that we do, and silence is something that cannot be done. Silence arises in the absence of doing. So the cause of silence is the absence of doing, the absence of noise. And we can ask further, what are the causes for the absence of noise? And so on and so forth. So you can trace back to give you a very clear idea of what to do. But before you can understand clearly what you should be doing and what you should not be doing, you need to understand what it is that you want. And then you need to understand what the causes are to get what you want. So you can align your doing in the present moment with those causes, not the result, because we don't know the result. I wouldn't think of things that I'm not experiencing. What's the point? There's a word for that, it's confusion, confusing ourselves, thinking of things that are not experienced. That doesn't mean that you cannot have a goal, that you cannot have an experience that you are aspiring to, that you cannot have faith in your accomplishment of that experience, but the way to get there is by tending to the cause. This is a crucial principle that also is very overlooked. First of all, a lot of people don't really know exactly what they want. They have some vague ideas, some vague fantasies of something that they might want. Like, for example, if you ask someone, what do you want? The answer often is simple, just as peace. What is peace? Exactly. How do you define peace? And that's already where the problems start. Now I have to think about it. What is a peace, really? And then I find out that I think peace means something like being undisturbed by external circumstances. Let's say it's the most superficial level. Peace to me is something like a peaceful place where there's no mosquitoes, no noisy neighbors, no annoying people around me. That looks like it's peaceful. And so, because I want peace, then my efforts would align with what I want. So I'm seeking out peaceful places all the time. So if we don't clearly understand what it is that we actually want, then we will keep losing ourselves in activities and endeavors that really do not actually give us what we really want. That then will give us instead just temporary relief at best. Like a shower gives us temporary relief, and then we get dirty again.
And so that goes on and on and on and on. So if my goal is to be clean, the question would be, what do I mean exactly by clean? And how would I pursue cleanliness? And is that then really what I want? Just to be clean? Is that it? What do I want? I want to be happy. Another one of those words. Peaceful, happy. Now, what does that mean? What's in your mind when I say the word happy? Something comes up in our minds. Maybe a smiley face. Maybe a happy moment, a person lifting their arms up into the air, standing on a mountaintop. Like some quotable image where you have like a nice quote, happiness is ... What is it exactly? Happiness. And once you've identified what it is, I'm going to give you my definition of happiness, which is the absence of suffering, the absence of stress. To the extent that you are unburdened, to that extent you're naturally happy. Like the sky is naturally blue to the extent that clouds are gone. More clouds, more dark. Less clouds, more light. Happiness is similar. As opposed to pleasure, which I use differently. Pleasure meaning the things that we are all familiar with, right? Things that feel good. A hug, traveling, eating good food. That is pleasure. Sense pleasure. Things that sound good. That when you hear the sound, it makes you feel good. When you taste, when you smell, when you see, when you feel, there is pleasant sensations, yes? You can have pleasant sensations, you can have pleasant sights, pleasant sounds, and very often we are in pursuit of those things. Perhaps this is most of our life's activity, just pursuing pleasant sense experiences. And in Buddhism, we count the intellect as one of those senses. That means your ideas, the pursuit of nice ideas, such as, how wonderful would it be if everyone was equal? You can have this nice idea and then live your life in pursuit of that. How wonderful would it be if everything was fair? If there was justice? That would be great. How wonderful if everyone would be vegetarian. How wonderful if everyone would meditate. How wonderful if everyone would have faith in Christ. Endless list. How wonderful if we were to just get rid of those annoying enemies of ours so we can finally be at peace. This is the pursuit of ideology, the pursuit of nice thoughts, just like we pursue nice sounds, nice smell, and so on. And then, of course, we need to fight the opposite. We need to go against the uncomfortable noise. We need to turn it off. We need to go against uncomfortable ideas. We then have to fight them, get rid of them. I want everything to be fair. And then someone steps up in the world and says, but things are not fair. Things are not equal. There's nothing in nature that is equal. Not one wave is like another. Why would they have to be equal? And I'm super offended by that. I hate it. Because it goes against my idea of how things should be. So you have a clash of ideas and then people fight with each other endlessly about ideas. Tastes. What, don't you like lasagna? What's wrong with you? Well, I hate lasagna. Wow, you're evil. I will not associate any longer with you because you don't like lasagna. People say things like that, right? So this pursuit of the senses, the six senses, doesn't actually lead to what we really want. It just leads to more stuff and more and more and more. But it does not lead to the ultimate satisfaction. Just like showering doesn't lead to the ultimate cleanliness. Or exercising leading to the ultimate health. Such a thing as the ultimate doesn't exist in the world. The world, the universe, consists of polarity. For energy to move, for there to be movement, aka life, there has to be polarity. There has to be darkness and light. And if you look around in the universe, a lot of things move in circles, don't they? Like even atoms. That's because things need to move in between poles for there to be movement, for things to be dynamic. And that is on all planes, not only the physical plane, but more subtle planes, as well as the mental, emotional plane, and so on. It all behaves in the same exact way. I'm raising this because we can begin to ask ourselves good questions. What do I then really want? Do I want everything to be fair? Let's say this is the plus pole for me. Then, well, I have to then deal with everything to be unfair as well, because fairness requires unfairness to make sense. Equality requires inequality to make sense. So if I'm in pursuit of equality, am I not simultaneously as well giving rise to inequality? If I'm in pursuit of life, am I not simultaneously pursuing death? How can you separate them? If I want the in-breath, am I not also in for the out-breath? This is what people don't understand, so we pursue the in-breath, the ultimate in-breath. And then we complain when it goes to the out-breath. We hate it. And we don't realize that we experience the out-breath because we were in love with the in-breath. We don't understand that we experience the result of our actions. So we believe that things happen to us for no other reason than just, what is it called? Fate or something. It's just supposed to happen, or maybe I'm lucky today or something like that. Maybe I'm not lucky. That's why things like those happen to me. We don't realize that we experience simply the outcome of our decisions, actions, intentions, our movements in our life. And it is the way it is because what we pursue is not satisfying. So we do not get satisfaction. So then what to do? First of all, know what you really want. But I can tell you what you all want. It's the same thing. We all want the same thing deep down inside, which is peace. It is a happiness that is not dependent on circumstance. They cannot be blown away by stuff. They cannot be taken from you. A freedom of being dependent on things, so that I do not have to say, well, I feel bad because of him or her. But no matter what him or her does, I do not feel bad. I can't feel bad because I'm beyond good and bad feeling. I'm that which is aware of good and bad feelings. I'm not lost in good and bad feelings anymore, completely unconscious. That is the first little idea of awakening. Waking up to what is happening while it is happening. Waking up to what I'm doing while I'm doing it. Why? Because I desire freedom above all else. I desire peace above all else. Not having to be subject to pain and misery, not being in a risky place where I'm fragile, moving on thin ice that can crack any moment. And what has previously been a happy life suddenly turns into a nightmare. We're all in that kind of situation. It's very unstable. So most of us, we live with a background hum of fear all the time. And on the other side of that is hope, which manifests as a constant desire in the mind to get to the next moment, trying to get somewhere, feeling incomplete. That is a pity if we are lost in this conditioned world and we are suffering it. And it is especially a pity if you know better. Like if you know that you could actually liberate yourself from your own body and mind, so you're not rolling with them. You're not flushed down the drain with your body and your mind to who knows where. Being totally dependent on what other people say or think about you, even, stuff like that. Other people's thoughts hurt me. Imagine that. This is nothing more insubstantial and irrelevant than thoughts. And yet we worry about other people's thoughts even. It's like, is that not absurd? It seems like completely absurd. That is a cause. What's the outcome of that? Well, suffering. So who's responsible for that suffering that I'm experiencing? Well, isn't it the one who decides to worry about what other people think of me? Who could I blame? Well, other people, of course, right? Their thoughts, of course. It's the easy way out. But in reality, only one thing or two things are to be blamed. One, my ignorance. I don't have any consciousness. I do not see what I'm doing, literally. I don't see myself. My eyes are going the other way. My ears are going the other way. Everything is geared towards pulling my attention away from myself. So that's one. The second is that I'm ruled by desire. I'm constantly unsatisfied, wanting, not wanting, wanting, not wanting. Moving through life being pulled like a water buffalo by the nose ring, being pulled around by circumstances. Today I am not allowed to feel good because the weather is bad. And then we live by these kind of things. Oh, I can't enjoy myself because insert anything you want. And we're all familiar with this. So what we really want is peace. What is the cause? Or what is peace then? It is the absence of being conditioned by circumstance. You're not conditioned by circumstance anymore. You cannot suffer anymore. You're off the thin ice. You're on the island. You're safe. Regardless of whatever goes on or happens, you cannot hurt anymore. But right now, is that true? Well, for me, no. I know very well I can hurt. I can hurt quite a lot. They just need the right things to happen, and I'm in a world of pain. And it's completely unpleasant to be me. Can happen easily to all of us. That's not a good situation to be in, because you'll have to worry a lot. So you cannot enjoy life because you're filled with worry and anxiety and a sense of being incomplete, constantly searching, browsing, mentally, physically, walking the earth. I love the Tibetan word for sentient being, doa. Doa means walker. It's pretty straightforward. Those who walk aimlessly, walking around, going from shiny thing to shiny thing, fighting against this, following that. That's the mind for an untrained person. Somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. It's aimless wandering from moment to moment. Unfree. Such a pity. And unnecessary, especially now that you've been here and that you hear such things or study such things for yourself. Then you're in a very different situation. Now you know that there is such a possibility to wake up to what is going on inside of yourself, to wake up to the process of conditioning, and to make yourself your object, to look at this conditioned me, to look at this conditioned stuff, those feelings, the body, the circumstances that keep arising and passing moment after moment. That can become your object. So confusion ends right there. You see as an object what is an object. And you understand the true nature of the subject. And with that, you understand a path to peace. Then you want to focus on the cause for peace, which is the knowing of what is for what it is. The gradual disentangling yourself from what is actually your object. Normally, you do not understand that thinking is an object. Most of the time, we believe ourselves to be the voice in our heads, right? It feels like I'm the one talking up there. It's me. I'm talking. But is that actually true? Yes? No? What do you think? What is it that thinks up there? It's just brain activity. It's all it is. It's recordings. Really, nothing more. The brain is a recording device. Whole lot of stuff in there that's been recorded. And if I push certain buttons, certain recordings will start to go. Let me give you an example. Alien invasion. Now, all of you had a little experience after hearing that word. No matter what the experience was, whether it was, huh? Or, oh yeah, I remember this movie when I was younger, Alien Invasion. Or, oh yeah, aliens are real. I think he believes that aliens are real. It's like I found a brother. Someone that also believes in aliens. No matter what your response was, it's simply a program running. Push another button. Spinach. Something happens in you. In that moment, maybe you see a picture of image. That precise picture that you see when I say spinach, where does it come from? From something you previously saw. It's not only that your brain has stored one image of spinach. There's plenty of images of spinach. There's a whole database concerning spinach. Past experiences, maybe you like it, maybe not. Maybe you were force-fed spinach when you were younger. My grandmother used to do that. She gave me spinach because it was supposed to be healthy, and she acted out on what she saw on television. She watched some advertisement, that certain brand of spinach, which was like a gooey, mashy, I don't know how you call that one. It's like a mashed potatoes, but spinach, but more liquidy, like with cream inside or something like that. And so she watched the advertising on TV, and they said, it's with iron, and it's good for you, and this and that, and especially good for children. And then so she tried to feed me that spinach all the time, and I hated it. And then they tried tricks, like they showed me Popeye and so on. I think Popeye might have even been invented to make children eat spinach. That could be the case, right? I would immediately believe that. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Why spinach? Because children need to eat it, and Popeye is their idol. So if my idol eats it, I'm going to eat it. All those are programs. Don't you see? You turn on the TV and the TV tells you what to think and how to feel and who to like and who to hate. And you think you're free. It's hilarious, especially with Donald Trump. Like how people get like different reactions to that name alone. Some people like burst into tears and I'm literally shaking right now and all that kind of stuff. Others, they're like, yeah, make America great again. And then they go down their ways of their programming and the others go down their ways of their program. And the funniest thing is they all accuse one another of just being NPCs, totally programmed, totally lost in their narrative. But we all are. We're all lost in the narrative of our heads. Everything that's been fed into your brain, there you go. We're nothing more like little robots. That's it. Not, however, if you're awake, if you are aware. Then you can step back and see it for what it is. Just brain activity. Why bother? Why even try to change it? It's like changing the weather. It's silly. Trying to change the weather because you don't like it. We could try, right? We could try to change the weather because we don't like it, but then other things happen too. Like cloud seeding and terraforming and all that kind of stuff exists, right? People try it. What could go wrong? Let's just mess with the balance of the ecosystem or the balance of the body and, let's just do stuff. See what happens. And since it's cause and result, every action has multiple chains of causality unfolding. It's very complex. And this karma is one of the very hidden phenomenon. You cannot say, for example, why do I have skin like this? Or why am I living in Thailand? Or why is my name Tobi? There's all karmic chains attached to that led to those outcomes. But exactly where is the beginning and why am I the way I am? Well, it's just endless, beginningless. Why even think about it? Same goes for the future. Why even think about outcomes of my practice that are not relevant right now? And worry about them. Oh, if I do too much meditation, I might go crazy. If I do too much meditation, maybe I have a falling out with my family. I'll become this kind of reclusive, boring guy that only sits in the corner the whole day. What happens to my relationship then? Why would it matter? Because we are afraid. Why are we afraid? Because we're vulnerable. We are subject to suffering. That's why. Meditation is supposed to deal with that. The spiritual path is supposed to deal precisely with that fundamental problem of suffering. So good, when we suffer, we are reminded that we're fragile. We're humbled by it. And when we're humble, then we're open to learning. We're open to actually really practicing on a deeper level, getting out of our predicament. And once you're on the path, there's really no need to think of the results at all. Tend to the cause. As you release through your body, as we just did in the meditation practice, it's pleasant, is it not? You let go of tension, feels good. That's why we like lying down. Feels good. Follow that. How much more could you let go of? How much tension is left? How about tension in the emotional body? Tension in the mind? Tension in the mind is the experience of time. for example. That is a result of tension in the mind. You experience future and past. What if you let go of that? And even deeper, what if you let go of your will? Will, intention, is tension. The trying, the controlling, the doing, the seeking. What if that stopped? Now the mind wants to solve that problem. It says, if that stopped, I wouldn't do anything then. That would be a classic example of thinking of the result before you actually attain it. You have a fantasy that, well, wait a second, if I'm beyond action and activity and trying and so on, that must necessarily mean that I stop moving, that I just sit in the corner and wait to die. That's what it looks like to the mind. The mind won't figure it out. But if you follow it, you might get scared because you have this assumption that, oh, no one would like me anymore if I would be that released. That's how the mind thinks about it, okay? Then you don't do meditation practice because you believe that it would turn you into a couch potato. No, couch potato is wrong. Like into some sort of hermit or something. A lot of people have that fear. They say, oh yeah, I understand this is all great, but you know, Tobi, I can't live in a cave. No one asked you to. How did you get that idea? Wow. What's that program, right? Meditation, bing, cave. Just let go of tension here now. Keep doing that. That's pretty good. And then let it go deeper and deeper, gradually. Let's see what happens. You become more relaxed. So you understand what peace is more and more because you're tasting it. All right? So that's enough for today. Are there any questions?
We hope you enjoyed this episode and had a meaningful time. For more information and upcoming events, head over to our website at phuket-meditation.com. Thank you very much for listening and have a wonderful day.